Interesting. Yeah, I enjoyed the heck out of this, as they say
Yeah.
on the Disney Channel, and I'll definitely go back and listen to this again. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Audiophiles. Coo. My name's John. His name's Andy.
Sure is. We do it.
And Cheeks at Hazard. Um, LA proved too much for the man. Too much for the man. He couldn't make it. So he's going to leave. So he's leaving the life he's come to know. Ooh. He said he's going. He said he's going back to find. Going back to find. Ooh. What's left of his world? The world he left behind not so long ago. More on that another time. But first, we have a tune to listen to. Andy, what have you got for all the folks?
I've got a band called the Horseflies, and a track by them called Human Fly, which is actually weirdly kind of a cover, if you want to call it that. Maybe more of a reimagining, I would rather classify it as. But
Not of the Cramps.
yes.
Jesus.
Yes. I thought you, if anything, you'd be familiar with the source material. I didn't think you would have heard the Horseflies or their iteration of this track.
No, I struggle to believe that anyone would do a cover of it. But anyway.
Wait till you hear how they did the cover of it, because that's probably the most interesting facet of this whole thing. So please, I'm very much interested to hear what you have to say about this one.
Thank God I don't have to wait, because I will tootle off and listen to it right now.
Excellent.
Suspense is killing me. Here they come. There's some really interesting percussion going on there. I guess it's wood blocks and stuff as well. There's almost one that sounds like it's a synth pad, and boom. Could be my ears. And there is strumming. Is it a banjo as opposed to a guitar? I think it is a banjo. I'm not 100% sure, but it sounds really nice. It's all sort of rhythmic and almost not tribalistic, but ritualistic almost. It does put me in mind, and I don't know which track, but Mike Oldfield did the soundtrack to Killing Fields, and so there's some bits in there which doesn't sound exactly like this, but it's got that sort of percussion-y, woodblocky stuff in it, which is really nice. Yeah, it's nice start. I mean, they took the bloody time getting here, didn't they? But, you know, I let them off. Yes. It's almost a bit of like, you could easily imagine this being the Penguin Cafe Orchestra doing this. Yeah, and I really like those sort of fiddles coming in, and they're adding to the rhythmic section, but then they're going off and doing that motif as well, which adds to it. Really nice.
I'm a human fly, and I don't know why. I've got 96 ears, 99 eyes. I've got wings that buzz, hair like buzz. I'm a human fly, and I don't know
Almost that insecty movement, isn't it? That sort of zigzagging around. Really cool. I was kind of almost disappointed when we got vocals, but there you go.
Mother was a fly, mother was a woman. I can still hear her cry. A spider ate my husband, was a common fly. With a taste for fashion, they were thrown together in a heap of passion.
I think I'm going to write this down quickly. Father was a fly, mother was a woman. And there was something about it was a common fly with a taste for fashion, and they were caught together in a heap of passion. Yeah. There's 6 minutes. Flew by, caught me completely by surprise. Didn't just finished. Yeah, really enjoyed that. So interesting. I don't think it really needed the fucking batshit crazy lyrics, but then again, it's quite fun, isn't it? It's nonsense in a tradition of like songs about flies, like Cramps and Wire. Yeah, this building at the start, all that sort of rhythmic quality, put me in mind actually of similar to first Feelies album when they were doing stuff like that to different instruments, obviously. But yeah, really cool. I enjoyed that a lot actually. I'm definitely gonna listen to this again. Let's find out some more by going back and speaking with Andy.
All right, so you buzzed on back. What, sir, did you make of this song?
Wow. Lux Interiors exchanged his leather trousers for a nice pair of chaps. Yeah, this was Yeah, I wouldn't have picked up that this is a reimagining of. I mean, it was the thing I mentioned in the reaction that there's this tradition of batshit crazy songs where flies are involved in the title, and yeah, this continues that trend, I think. Um, so we get this graduated start. I mean, they're obviously coming from many miles away, and we hear them slowly coming.
Yeah.
Bit like Lawrence of Arabia, that shot where he's just coming back on the horse and like, come on already, we've got a show to do. But they come in, and there's this really infectious percussion and banjo, I believe. So the percussion, some of the notes, I mean, it's wood block. Some of them sound like bamboo almost. And there's one, unless my ears deceive me, that almost sounds like a synth pad. It's more of a boom rather than a clunk, It kind of reminded me of an up-tempo version of, and forgive me because I couldn't tell you what track it was, but Mike Oldfield did a soundtrack album for the film The Killing Fields. And it's really pretty album, actually. And within that, you have some of this sort of Asian music, which uses that percussion, and it's really pretty. Sort of cobbled in with xylophones and stuff as well. And it kind of reminded me of an up-tempo version of that. I almost like that sound. So yeah, it sounds rise in volume, and I believe a second and probably third and fourth and fifth banjo come in. So it's really rhythmic. It has this feel of people completely caught up in their actions, and they don't give a shit about anything else. It's almost ritualistic. I know it's not quite tribal, but it's that sort of feeling. So this is the totality of their world. It kind of makes you want to join in. That's how they get you into the banjo percussion cult. And because of that, you almost get this image of like Fireside. I've had these things before. I said with our brother and that. You get this because it's a closed off world. So you imagine this big, fire, and the light only goes so far in the circle, and they're around it. And then, interestingly, as this develops, and it feels almost circular in the way it's going round and round. It's just slight variations, but just past the 2-minute point, we get these passing shrieks that sound like suicidal insects coming out of the dark and flying through the flames of the campfire. And in fact, it's a secret signal to change gear up in music onto the next phase. Really like that. So then the fiddles join in. And again, it's another filling in the rhythmic smorgasbord. And they have their own little motif as well. So they're sort of coming in with the sort of group chugging. But then they do that, and it sounds like an insect darting around on the wing.
Oh, yeah.
The way they do those riffs, which is lovely. And I was struck at this point when it's totally rhythmic like this, and they're just developing and going on. They're in no hurry at all. I mean, it's coming up to 3 minutes at this point. And I was thinking this could easily be a Penguin Cafe Orchestra song. Easily. And really, and they probably do something similar to this. I've not got all of this stuff, but yeah, really enjoying this. And then at the 3-minute mark, or just after it, around then, I'm almost disappointed we get vocals because it's just a silly thing to say. But so the singer announces, "I'm the human fly," and I don't know why. And there's a slight effect on his vocals, like echo or something, that makes his vocals the end, beginning and the end of the line sort of slip in and slip out again, which again is that sort of uneasiness to it. So he names I mean, I don't remember all the lyrics to the Cramps one, but he names and counts his body parts, and he seems satisfied with that. And then we get more instrumental goodness. And the music at this point is like really dynamic now. It's both a singular entity, but also a swarm of all the parts jostling within it, a bit like an insect colony. And then I was thinking, do flies really band together in communities? I don't think they do. They just, jump from dog shit pile to dog shit pile, don't they? I think you get swarmed sometimes, but that's only because there's some sort of goodness around that they all want. I think I heard him say something like father was a fly, mother was a woman. This is a tale as old as time,
Yeah, that old chestnut.
Fly, with a taste for fashion, no thrown together in deeper passion, of course. And then after reminding us of the title, we get the instrumental sort of riding us out to the finish. And when it finished with a aplomb, it caught me completely by surprise. Yeah, this was just, I mean, there's not much else to say. This was just huge for great musically, batshit lyrically, obviously. And now you tell me why. I understand that. And this is, as I said, follows in the tradition of fly themed songs. I think it also of I Am the Fly from Wire, which again, well, you change your mind, stupid songs to do with the fly. It's a great song, don't get me wrong, but you know. It also reminded me the rhythmically of some of the work that the Feelies did on their first album, which is appropriately called Crazy Rhythms.
Mhm.
Yeah, and again, it's that sort of really interesting bit between the sort of the percussive nature and then the strumming of, you know, whatever. In this case, I think banjos. I don't think there was proper guitars in there, your normal, whatever you want to call them, guitars. There could have been. But it's that sort of points where strumming becomes percussive, and they explore that in that album. And they've done a bit of it here, which again makes it really interesting. Yeah, I enjoyed the heck out of this, as they say
Yeah.
on the Disney Channel. And I'll definitely go. I'll definitely go back and listen to this again.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, this is probably an album worth you checking out in its totality. There are other really good songs on this as well. And I'm glad that you like this, and knowing that you like bands like Penguin Cafe Orchestra and other sort of avant, kind of bands, that this would be up your alley. Which is why I was both surprised but then elated to learn that you were not familiar with them, so that we could bring them to the channel and you could give them a listen. Um, Also, I will say this about the lyrics. I wanted to make sure I got this right, because this song is clearly different from its source material, though there's still a link there. So I wanted to look up the lyrics proper to their version of the song, the Cramps, that is, and could not find any iteration of the vocals from or lyrics from this anywhere on the internet. So I was hoping against all odds that they would match perfectly. But outside of like, I'm a human fly. That's the only lyric that is from the actual original song. So I had to transcribe them, as we've found ourselves doing from time to time with some of these songs that we've offered up. And boy, howdy, was it a colossal pain in the ass. I had to listen to two or
Yep.
three different versions of the song, hoping that the parts I wasn't getting on a prior one would be clearer on the next version of the song I heard by these guys, until finally I could make this amalgam hodgepodge of the collective lyrics, which I now think I've got. But if I don't, it would come to no surprise to me at all, because it was really quite difficult, but worth it in the end.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, we've all been down that road. But yeah, a little bit about the band. The Horseflies are an American alternative rock / folk band founded in the late 1970s in Ithaca, New York, under the name Tompkins County Horseflies, by husband and wife Jeff Claus and Judy Hyman, as well as Richie Stearns and John Hayward. The four original members of the Horseflies emerged from the old-time music scene, and in collaboration with percussionist Taki Masuko and keyboardist accordionist Peter Dodge, would develop their unique sound by twining old-time fiddle tunes with modern art / alt rock influences and world folk music traditions. Songs by Klaus and Stearns included surreal elements that simultaneously evoke Appalachian imagery and the alienated perspective of British and American indie rock bands of the 1980s. This link was perhaps the most explicit in their reworking of the Cramps' Human Fly, the title cut of the Horseflies' first album. Their second album, Gravity Dance, from 1991, threw musical balance greatly over the rock sensibility. Claus's Sally Ann, later re-recorded by Natalie Merchant, retains the band's connection to Appalachian balladry, while Stearns' I Need a Plastic Bag to Keep My Brains In and Claus's Life is a Rubber Rope are more nearly new wave pop songs. Hayward, the band's original bassist, died of cancer in 1997. The last Horseflies recording featuring Hayward was the serendipitously recorded Live in the Dance Tent, which was taped at the Six Finger Lakes Grassroots Festival of Music and Dance in July of 1996. Heartbroken about Hayward's death, the remaining band members put the Horseflies on hiatus, eventually reemerging publicly under the name Edna's Driveway in 2003, with bassist June Drucker and keyboardist accordionist Rick Hansen. Not long after the band reclaimed their name, and the Horseflies toured Europe and played festivals in the United States, so they returned to their roots and their name. In 2008, the band released Until the Ocean, the first album featuring its current lineup, again reinventing their sound. And Until the Ocean features a return to the band's acoustic roots while expounding upon their alternative rock and world music sensibilities. So, John Perales of the New York Times wrote this of the band. Lately, I've started to think that working fusions bring a sense of place to the information landscape, a fictitious place outside geography, but one that's convincingly imagined. One way to get there is to head for music borderlines, discovering where far-flung styles overlap as pure sheer sound. The Horseflies, a band from Ithaca, New York, decided that old-time string band music, with its one-chord modal drones and busy fiddling, has something in common with the intricate minimal compositions themselves African, Asian, American fusions of Steve Reich, an unlikely combination that pays off. The Horseflies have figured out how to hold a hoedown in a physics lab, which that last bit, a hoedown in a physics lab, is kind of an interesting way to describe their sound. Michael Alsford of AllMusic wrote this of the album. Human Fly is an evocative record that turns traditional country inside out. Though it is very apparent that the group has listened and absorbed old-time country and bluegrass, the intent seems to be to win over a modern young audience that is open to the possibilities of adding modern electronic sounds to the mix. And finally, Andy Fenwick of Trouser Press opined in his review of this album. Human Fly leaps ahead into a hybrid of farmland folk and avant new wave. The arrival of percussionist Bill Usher adds tube drums, clay drums, a balafone, and an African beatbox, among other trinkets. Synthesizer and emulator specialist Brent Barkman ices the cake of the Horsefly's otherworldly new sound, self-dubbed neo-primitive bug music. But neither Barkman's eerie transformation of Stern's banjo into a rubber helicopter nor Usher's delicate tone-rich percussion would amount to anything without the other's dead-on artistic sensibility. Few contemporary folk artists would take inspiration from the Cramps, as the title track's liner notes admit. Fewer folk artists in the 80s were covering traditional songs with the nightmarish spirit of Doc Boggs, or creating originals as creepy and as atmospheric as Who Throwed Lie on My Dog, another good tune. Claus and Stern sing with the wary pain of unemployed men wandering the Adirondack Mountains, one of the weirder jewels of the 80s new wave. Human Fly is about as good as one album wonders get. Pardon me. So these lyrics that I had to arduously interpret and pen are, I'm a human fly, and I don't know why. I've got 96 tears and 99 eyes. I've got wings that buzz and hair that's like fuzz. I'm a human fly, and I don't know why. Human fly. My father was a fly. My mother was a woman. I can still hear her cry. A spider ate my husband. He was a common fly with a taste for fashion. They were thrown together in the heat of passion. Human fly. The words don't fucking matter. Not in the original, not in this. What's beautiful about this is all that crazy production to the this odd hodgepodge of instruments that are all thrown together to perhaps better than. Recently, we did a song by Air, and you had me listen to them, and I could not get over how much they sounded like Air, like they had this airy nature to their sound. This band sounds like a bunch of fucking flies learned how to play instruments. And it's a perfect name for the band, and I guess in turn a perfect song for them to reimagine in Human Fly. But yeah, really weird, quirky, hella fun to listen to, and I thought it would be right up your alley. I'm really glad you enjoyed this one, John.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah, really good. And I love, yeah, when you mentioned the sort of the personnel stuff there, so yeah, there was this sort of Asian touches to it. I wasn't just imagining it,
No, you're
which is
you're
always
right.
good to know.
Yeah, they do like to tap into that world music scene, which is great,
Yeah,
it's
great stuff.
great for people who don't normally listen to that stuff to be exposed to it too and find out new and different instruments and sounds that they like and enjoy. So that was sort of my experience the first time I listened to these guys, and I was very much looking forward to bringing them to the channel. Thank you so much for giving this a listen, John, and folks out there.
My
Let us know
pleasure.
what folks out there, let us know what you thought of this track by the Horseflies, Human Fly. If you're a fan of the original, perhaps, or if you like this reimagining of it by these guys, please let us know. Any suggestions by them or other bands we should check out, any and all comments, so long as they're kind, please drop them down in the comments field below. We really do appreciate hearing from you guys. Also, while we have your attention, please like, share, and or subscribe if you'd be so inclined. That truly helps us and the channel, helps us grow, helps us bring in new listeners, also new suggestions and perhaps new bands and songs that we can listen to in the future. So thank you very much for that. And hopefully, John and I will catch all y'all in growing numbers on the next installment of the Audiophiles. We'll see you later, guys.